I'm not sure if I'm talking loud because I've got my headphones on, and you can hear there's a presentation going on behind me. I've got another special guest who is got his own podcast as well, I'm pleased to say. Do you want to introduce yourself and tell us about your podcast?
Yeah, so my name is Dove Ross Williams. I'm a creative arts director, but I also run an online radio station called Colours, acronym, City of Liverpool online radio station. Very clever, but it actually spells colours as well. Yeah, that's been running for about 10 years, and I cover a lot of events across the city like Africa Oye that I was telling you about tomorrow, which you're
gutted I'm missing that.
So yeah, but I just cover a lot of projects. I'm also ADHD as well, which I was saying to you, so I'm now just doing a PhD on the creative and performing arts and learning for neurodiverse people, young people.
Right. And so Colours, can you tell us some of the work that you do? I know you just sort of covered in brief there. Say a little bit more about what you actually do in the neurodiverse world.
In the neurodiverse world, I'm about to launch, I think, maybe Liverpool or maybe even England's first Neuro-Diverse weekend arts college. So the idea is to provide creative and performing arts for neurodiverse young people, and because of my youth and what I went through, being ADHD, but really aspiring through dance and singing and drama, I think there's a connection. I'm not saying it's only because neurotypical will do as well, but I'm just saying I think there's definitely a high connection of performing arts and a pathway for people that are neurodivergent. Mm-hmm. It helps them for learning, helps me understand maths and a variety of things, but through drama and acting. And speech and learning through that way rather than English in school in an English environment. I
agree, yeah. It's certainly like with, young people particularly that have neurodiverse needs, they struggle, like sitting down in the classroom, having to pay attention for the whole school day. You tend to find they're very creative when it comes to sometimes drama and something that requires their creativity side of it to sort of come out, or even something that's more physical. Go on, you're about to say something.
No, because I think what you just mentioned, the thing about ADHD people who are attention deficit, we find it hard to sit down for more than maybe half an hour. And so if you think about a child going to a school environment and trying to sit for the whole day, when they do need to get up and get out, maybe be in the outdoors, learning with their hands and doing things, we do need to change, I think, the paradigm of changing the way we teach kids in a school setting. And it needs to be adaptable for different types of learning. And I think schools know that, but they're constrained. But it's time for change and allowing young people to learn in the variety of ways which they can.
Yeah, and that's some of the work that the ADHD Foundation is doing, like going into schools, like trying to raise awareness and training teachers on neurodiversity. So, because that's something that's not really included in the sort of teacher training. So, I can see the paradigm changing. That's the new word I've learned today that I'm going to take away with me. Coming on to your podcast, so tell us a little bit more about your podcast.
Well, my podcast, I've done just a variety of different ones depending on what's going on in the year. So like for my PhD, which is happening at the moment, I'll do a podcast with like Tony from the ADHD Foundation discussing what he thinks are the benefits of performing arts with ADHD. Tomorrow I'm at Africa Oye, interviewing and talking to a lot of African performers about African music, its importance and its culture, and even the points about making African music a much more integral within universities and accepted as a music genre in its own right, and taught in universities like classical. So I do podcasts on things that I think are meaningful to the community, and has an educational thing about it, and an inspiring, changing the world podcast. That's what I think I'd like to do when I'm doing my thing. And I do vodcasts. As you're like doing your vodcast, I'm videoing on the GoPro.
Oh, right, okay.
So I do both. I do vodcasts and podcasts. Color.